Then the Greater Demon threatened Fran that this time she would die because the Greater Demon already had Fran's sword skills. Then the Greater Demon attacked Fran again, but the Greater Demon's sword skills were strangely still same. That means Greater Demon failed to take Shisho and Fran's abilities. This can happen because the Greater Demon's main target is only Fran's skill, while all of the main sword abilities are in Shisho. Then the Dungeon Master started bringing out top-level goblins to join fight. But Greater Demon didn't want the Dungeon Master to interfere with this fight because he wanted to get out of there and mess up the city. Then the Greater Demon attacked Fran with the overwhelming power he had. Fortunately, Fran and Shisho managed to withstand the Greater Demon's attack. Shisho advises Fran to return to the city because the Greater Demon is too strong. But Fran didn't want it because if she went back to the city, the Greater Demon would definitely mess up the city and hurt the citizens. Fran didn't want that to happen because there were a lot of merchants that Fran needed for her daily needs. Therefore, Shisho still accompanied Fran to fight against the Greater Demon. Shisho tried to think of the Greater Demon's weakness, while the Greater Demon continued to attack Fran without stopping. The Greater Demon's attacks continued indiscriminately with no mercy on Fran. Every stone on the dungeon wall was crushed, and fortunately, Fran could dodge these stones with agility. Then Shisho finally found one oddity: Greater Demon didn't attack the dungeon wall stone around the Dungeon Master. It was likely that Greater Demons would never put a Dungeon Master in danger. So Shisho started trying to attack the Dungeon Master directly to prove his conjecture. It turned out that Shisho's guess was correct. Greater Demon always guarded the Dungeon Master. Shisho and Fran brutally used magic power to attack the Dungeon Master, whereas Greater Demons would definitely not have another chance to attack. If the Dungeon Master is killed, the Greater Demon will also disappear because the Dungeon Master controls the core of this dungeon. But unfortunately, the Greater Demon's protective shield was powerful. It was likely that Fran and Shisho's MP had run out before the Greater Demon's shield broke, so they started to stop their magic attacks. Then the Greater Demon attacked them back, and they dodged the Greater Demon's attack. Shisho suggested Fran use the plan Shisho had just made. Fran had to entrust this plan to Shisho without being controlled by her. Greater Demon has a cooldown after its skill is released, so Shisho and Fran will take advantage of this opportunity. Then Shisho told Fran to throw the sword in a different direction from the Greater Demon. After Shisho slid and headed towards the Dungeon Master, Fran used magic power again to attack the Greater Demon. The Greater Demon blocked Fran's attack and used its strength again to block Shisho's path. But this was the moment Shisho had been waiting for the most. He started to change direction with his telekinesis ability towards the Greater Demon Core Stone. The Greater Demon managed to restrain Shisho, but Shisho increased his magic power again and started talking directly to the Greater Demon. Shisho was furious that the Greater Demon had hurt Fran so many times. It had even cut off Fran's hand. This is Shisho's revenge, who loves Fran very much because Fran is the most precious person in this world. Fortunately, Shisho is still alive because he absorbs the Core Stone. Fran was a little annoyed that Shisho was acting like he had no life, but Fran was also happy that Shisho was the strongest sword Fran had. Then Fran took the Greater Demon sword and immediately killed the Dungeon Master. After the dungeon turned into an ordinary room, Shisho kept the Greater Demon sword, which had a high level. Before long, Donadrant and the adventurers approached Fran. They were very worried about Fran's condition and shocked to learn that Greater Demon's corpse was there. The adventurers were amazed that Fran could defeat a B-rank Greater Demon alone. But suddenly, Donadran scolded Fran for acting too rashly. This frightens Fran, and her mood worsens from being scolded by Donadran. Then they would return to the city by bringing the greater demon's corpse. Shisho really enjoyed this fight because he gained many abilities from the monster's core stones, especially greater demons. Fran also leveled up drastically for killing greater demons and goblins. Fran's level has reached level 25, while Shisho's is already level 10. Fran is very annoyed with Shisho because he talks about abilities when Fran's mood is still chaotic.
私が怒られてる間、ずっとスキルのこと考えてた。師匠ひどい。
Then Shisho comforted Fran by discussing the delicious food that Shisho had promised earlier. When Fran's mood improved, Shisho went back to talking about their current abilities. The ability of a greater demon that takes abilities from other people's bodies has also been obtained by Shisho. The name of the ability is Skill Taker. Then Shisho raised the Skill Taker level to the max, and Menu-san said that the Skill Taker had a 100% chance of taking the opponent's ability. Skill Taker also has a cooldown of 18 days and can only be used once on the same target. This makes Fran and Shisho very happy, and they can't wait to try Skill Taker. Then they finally arrived at the city of Alessa and continued their respective activities. Fran is called into Clint's office at night to talk about clearing the dungeon. Clint was in awe of Fran because she had already defeated the B-rank monsters there. Actually, Fran's actions today were unfair to the other adventurers, but luckily they didn't complain about it. Then Clint appreciated Fran, who was willing to bring the Greater Demon's corpse to the Adventurers Guild. Greater Demon's corpses could be made into some quality materials and were definitely rare since he was a B-rank monster. But Clint found one oddity: he didn't find the core stone of the Greater Demon. Clint was curious because so many rare core stones were after him. It's even possible that some people or countries will ask Fran many questions later: where is the core stone in this B-rank monster's body? Then Fran said the core stone in the Greater Demon's body shattered when Fran defeated it. After hearing that, Clint was relieved and believed Fran's words. But suddenly, a man walked into Clint's office and said Fran had lied to Clint.
なんだこいつ